right. Today is October the 6th, Wednesday. We are going to do the warm up. We have notes on inequalities, and we're going to do some guided practice problems. Tonight's homework are the Wednesday problems that we labeled yesterday in the packet. Okay. Do not forget, please make sure that you are working. We did already last night for homework. You should have completed a lesson. Please make sure, guys, that when I give you that time, I'm giving you time without homework to get some things done so that you don't feel overwhelmed. But if you don't use the time, at some point you are going to start feeling like an overlap, like it's like overwhelmed if you don't do it when you're supposed to. Okay? And then you're going to be rushing to get lessons done when you technically had time to get it done. So please use time wisely. There's a sheet that I gave you that were already lessons, and it looks just like this. On the sheet, I need you to put your first and last name. Hold on. On the sheet, please make sure that you put your first and last name. Anybody else not get one? That's good. All right. Okay. The date range, look, we started this last week in week 6, and we're going to finish in week 9. The due date is October the 22nd. That's the last day of the quarter. That's the last day of the quarter. How is it graded? 3 lessons completed and passed. Make sure you show your work on everything. Some problems are not going to require you show any work, and that's fine. Please don't ask me which ones. You need to use great discretion, okay? 3 lessons completed and passed, you get 100. 2 lessons completed and passed, you have to do both, is an 80. 1 lesson completed and passed is a 60 for this project. So if you keep failing lessons, you need to make sure that you have enough past lessons to get a passing grade. Any questions about that? Here is where you put the name of the lesson, the date that you took it, and the score that you made. It's going to tell you whether or not you passed it or not. If you have a list of lessons that you did not pass, and I go in there and see that you have a list that you not passed, but you have been working hard, I'm going to give you credit. But what I'm not going to give you credit for, guys, is if it looks like you just rushed through the lessons and you didn't really do anything. You keep failing them because you're just doing something just to be doing it. Okay? So please keep those things in mind. All right, I'm going to show you on the Canvas page where to get that sheet. Okay, I'm going to show you on the Canvas page. Let me pause this real quickly. All right, so let's look at the warm-up. I wrote on this sheet, so I need to write on a separate sheet. Okay, let's make the screen a little bit bigger. All right, so let's look at Wednesday. I wrote on our little packet, so it is what it is. That's okay. What's that? Something wrong with your calc? Just using, no, it's not. Second mode. Second mode. Yellow button and mode. Yellow button, they right beside each other.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, let's look at this. What's the first step when solving equations? What do we do first? Anybody remember? Distributive property. Good job. Okay, so let's distribute. So here we have distributive property. This is -5. We're going to multiply it times the x and times the 4. Do we have distributive property anywhere else? No, we don't. So let's just do distributive property first. What's -5 times x? -5x. Good job, babe. What's -5 times a +4? Kevin, write this down, babe. -20. So that's -20. And bring everything else down. So do distributive property first. Distributive property first. Bring everything else down. Distributive property first. Okay. You want to step in? Yeah. You can see back there?
Oh no, I can't see.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just making sure. She was just looking, and I was just like, I wonder if she can see. You okay? Okay. All right. So now what do we do? What's the next step? Combine like terms. Good job, y'all. What can we combine on this side?
5x, negative 5x and negative 3x.
What's negative 5x plus negative 3x? Negative 8x. Good job. Bring down the minus 20. Let's look at this side. What can we combine over here?
Negative 10 and positive 2x.
Okay, negative 10x and positive 2x. What does that give us when we combine? Negative 8x, y'all. Good job. And bring down the minus 20. Okay? Make sure you write this down, baby. All right. What's the next step that we do?
Move the variables.
Move the variables to the same side. Okay? All right, doesn't matter. They're both the same. So let's move this one over here. We're picking up the whole thing and moving it over. So when you pick it up and move the whole thing over, not detach it, but you're taking them and moving the whole thing, then you add or subtract to move the whole thing. You're going to add 8x to move it. You're moving the whole thing. So when I add 8x to both sides, this is gone, and I'm left with negative 20 is equal to negative 20, because this is gone also. So the variables cancel out. Is this a true math sentence or false?
True.
This is true. So what kind of solution is this? There's not one answer for this one. Infinitely many. Any number would work. If it's a one solution, that means if it's one solution, that means that what I want to say, that means that that you have x is equal to a number or p is equal to a number, okay? If it's no solution, that means this would be false. The variables cancel out and it'd be false. Infinitely many, the variables cancel out and this is true. Okay? Let's look at this one. It says 14 less than, so that means I got to subtract 14 from something. 14 less than the quantity of a number. Does it say what number? No, so we're going to use a variable. What variable do you want to use? X, okay? So we got X. Let's use N for this, okay? Let's use N. So the quantity of a number, let's use N, times 5. So N times 5 is 5N. And don't forget it says less than 14, so that's minus 14. So that's the first part of it. 14 less than the quantity of a number, we don't know, times 5. That's 5N minus 14. Because those are not like terms. Then it says is, that's equal to, is the same as, so that's equal to product. What's product mean? What operation is product? Multiplication. So we're going to multiply 8 times 8 and the number. We don't know what the number is, so that's n again. Increased by 4. So that's n plus 4. So we're multiplying 8 times n plus 4. That's the equation. What's the first step to solving this equation? Distributive property. Okay? So we're going to distribute the 8 to both numbers in the parentheses. Bring this down. What's 8 times n? Very good. What's 8 times 4? So we got positive 32 here. Okay. Now, what do we do now? We combine like terms. Can we combine anything on this side? No. What about this side? No. Okay, so what's after that step? Move the variables to the same side. Well, let's move the smaller one. Which one's smaller? You want to move the whole thing over here. So you use either addition or subtraction to move the whole thing. Not detach it, just move all of it. So how do I move a positive 5n? The whole thing. Subtract it. You're subtracting it to move it. Because it's a positive, you're going to subtract it. 5n minus 5n is 0. That leaves me with negative 14. Bring down the equal. What's 8n minus 5n? 3n. Bring down the plus 32. Got it? Makes sense. Lastly, we isolate the variable. How do we isolate the variable? Which one of these do we get rid of first? Why do y'all say 4? Out of curiosity. If I say isolate the variable, what does isolate mean? Get it by itself. So what side are we working on? What are we trying to get by itself? The n. So we don't work on this side, work on this side. So how do you get n by itself? Do you get rid of 3 first, or do you get rid of 32 first? 32. Get rid of anything you can add or subtract. What's the opposite of a positive 32? So you're going to subtract 32 on both sides. What is negative 14 minus 32? Negative 46. This is 0 here, and we're left with 3n. So now what do we do to get n by itself? Divide both sides by what? 3. So what's negative 46 divided by 3? Type it in. That's going to be a negative. I'll give you a hint. A negative divided by a positive is a negative, but it's a negative what? Type it in. Negative 15.3. Repeat it. Now we're going to look at Wednesday's homework. Last night's homework was to work on already. Tonight, you have an assignment to do. You can still work on already because you won't have much to do for tonight's homework. It's really easy. Okay, let's look at it. All right, out to the side, I'm writing down the inequalities for you because you're going to need to know those just in case you have forgotten. Okay, we have the first symbol right here. This is the less than symbol. It looks like an L. This is less than. Okay, this is your less than symbol. It looks like an L. The greater than symbol is going the other way. It's a backwards L. This is greater than. Less than, greater than. Now we got the less than or equal to symbol. This is less than. It can be less than or it can be equal to. Then we got the greater than or equal to. Less than looks like the L. Greater than is a backwards L. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. They both have equal sign. One little line under the less than sign is less than equal to. One line under the greater than sign is greater than or equal to. So now I'm going to show you how to graph these. And you'll finish the rest of them for homework, okay? So let's look at this. Which of these inequalities is this one? This is less than. Okay? So all of my values are going to be less than a negative 1. So let's find negative 1 on the number line and put a circle above it on the number line. That's what you do. Can negative 1 be a part of the solution? Is it equal to? Is negative 1 less than negative 1? It's not. It's equal to. It's not less than. So it can't be a part of the solution. So this is going to be an open circle. You're going to leave it open. Don't shade it. Open circle. Miss Reyes, why is this an open circle? It's an open circle because it's not an equal to. If it's equal to, you shade the circle in. It's going to be a closed circle. Since it's not equal to, you keep it open. Now shading all the numbers that are less than negative 1. So is that shading to the left or is that shading to the right? That's shading to the left. Good job. These are smaller. So you shading all the numbers that are less than a negative 1. Got it?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to shade it. Because like it just says graph.
That's what it means by graphing. Look at the other. What inequality